So today I am going to be doing the rounds with none other than Anthony Million Dollar Crawler. How are you doing, Anthony?
Anna, I'm good, thank you. How you keeping?
Do you know what? I'm actually really good. I've got like a really good routine going. I've been training lots and doing bits of work, so I can't complain. What about you? How's homeschooling going?
I'll be totally honest with you. I've failed a little bit at the homeschooling. It's been getting plenty of free lessons in the garden, stuff like that. But as for the English and maths and science, not so good. But I'm trying. I'm trying. But it looks like he could be back to school next week. But I think, like everyone says, I think you've got to take it has been very tough for a lot of people, but you've got to take the positives from this lockdown as well. And I've got to spend a lot of time with my son that I wouldn't normally get. And although I failed as with the homeschooling, I've given it a good go.
What do you think the hardest thing has been for you?
The homeschooling. It's,
Is it?
I think other than that, I've not found it. So I would listen. No, being in the gym nearly all day, every day, it's a massive shock. Whether it be helping out coaching with professionals, with the amateurs, training myself. So not being able to do that has been tough. I mean, there's certain home workouts you can do, but that's been, other than the homeschooling, that's been the toughest thing, really.
You are just counting down the days until they go back to school, aren't they?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's, I can't lie. I've got some time off with my little lad, but I think he's ready to go back. So listen, at that age, at 6 years of age, it's a very tough age, isn't it? Explaining what they can and they can't do.
Must be. I don't know how you guys are doing it. Well, hopefully this will be a little respite for you, a bit of fun in your day. It's basically six 3-minute rounds. You've got to answer as many questions as you can in those 3 minutes. Six
Yes,
parts of your life, shall we say? You ready for this?
yes, I'm ready.
Wicked. Let's do it. Okay, first round is all about life before boxing. Let's do it.
Yeah,
What's your earliest boxing memory, Anthony?
my earliest boxing memory as a boxer would be well, not even as a boxer, but first going to being took to the gym by my father because there was probably no one to mind me, but I was a kid who was into all sports and stuff, and thought I'd give boxing a go. And in being an ex-professional, you brought up around the sport, and yeah, going into the gym and seeing these older lads, punching bags, punching pads, and sparring, and just thinking, wow, I want to get involved in that.
Was it always going to be boxing for you? Do you think?
Um, I think at one point I certainly wouldn't minded being a footballer instead, but I simply wasn't good enough, and I knew from a pretty early age really that I I had a much better chance of making a career out of being a boxer than I did as a footballer. So I was a realist, and yeah, so I realised that at a pretty early age. But I was hooked, on the sport of boxing from the age of 10, if I'm honest.
What were you like at school? Were you teacher's pet, or were you a bit of a class clown?
I think I was somewhere in between, if I'm honest, and I think the teachers would say that as well. I listen, with school. I love school. Honestly, it was some of the best times of my life, and I really did love it. But I probably do like most kids. I wish I would have listened a little bit more, but my head was always with boxing. Even in lessons, I was thinking about getting in the gym that night and either getting in the gym or what we was going to do there in training, or thinking about a fight that was coming up. So I was hooked from a very early age. But I do wish just certain things now, like life after boxing, that I probably listened a little bit more in class, and there wouldn't be certain exams you have to take again. But that's just part of life. That's just part of life. But I'd say that I was more towards the class clown, but I wasn't a bad kid.
I feel like there's more to this story than that. I feel like there's some sort of like naughtiness creeping in there that I'm just not going to get you to say. You've mentioned about going to watch Ricky Hatton at the MEN. Did you ever
Yeah.
imagine that you'd be packing out arenas and sort of following in his footsteps?
Genuinely, no, but that was the dream, Hannah, and I mean that. Like from Ricky, I was watching Ricky before the arena. I remember seeing his first title fight at Oldham Leisure Centre, um, and I followed his career from them. But for every young Manchester boxer to be at the arena for those big nights, you couldn't help but dream and think, one day I hope that's me. And I never ever forgot that. Never forgot that. I say all the time, there's only one Ricky Hatton, and I believe there will be. We'll never see anything like him again. You know, the support that he got, and just being the fighter he was, and how the public loved him. But yeah, that was always the dream. That was always the dream when you're there for some of Ricky's big nights to have them yourself, definitely.
Absolutely. We've run out of time, but I'm going to ask you this one anyway. Who is your childhood crush?
My childhood crush. Oh wow.
This has thrown some real rogue ones in for people.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Do you know who it was? I'd say my childhood crush was Posh Spice. Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham. So I thought David picked
Were
the
you a
right
Spice
Spice
Girls
Girl.
fan?
I was a Spice Girls fan, yeah. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
I love that. Brilliant. All right, move on to career in boxing. Here we go. For you, your career highlight, what is it?
Career highlight. I always say it's between two. It's either winning the world title or defending it. But I'd say because of the performance, and I always say being introduced as a world champion in that same arena where I watched Ricky Hatton so many of his big nights, to be introduced as a world champion, to walk out a world champion by the great Michael Buffer, it takes some beating. So I'd probably say a career highlight was beating defending a world title against Ismail Barroso.
Who would you say was your biggest influence on your career, do you think?
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, there's the obvious one of like your father, but for me, and it's a toss up between my amateur coach, Jimmy Lewis, 82 years old now and still in the gym 3 times a week, helping the young kids in the area, and I've got to say Joe Gallagher, sort of, because when he took me on, it looked as if my career wasn't going anywhere fast. Some people thought that a Central Area title was going to be my limits. That's in no way disrespect for people who win that. So to go on then to achieve my dreams and hit the heights that I did, Joe was a huge part in that. So I would have to say him.
You're often referred to as the nicest man in boxing. Where do you find the switch though to becoming the fighter?
I always say I'm not sure, but it's just, to me, honestly, and boxing's just a job. It's a job that I loved. The sport I love and I still love now. I think I always will do. But for me, it was nothing personal. It was just two guys trying to further themselves, better their career, and you'd prepare the best you possibly could before it, and you hope that it'll be enough on the night. And for me, I didn't sort of think about wasting energy of, daft trash talking before it or after it. I just thought a good fight's a good fight. And that's how I've seen it. I just seen it as a job, to be honest.
I'm sure one of the more difficult times in your career was the attack on your home.
Yeah.
How do you think that impacted you?
Massively. It impacted my career. It made me sort of reassess things. I was always hungry. I always trained hard, but I think it made me think if I get a second chance at this career in a way, then I'm going to make sure I give it absolutely everything I can do, and I believe I've done that, and it helps. And sometimes, I've got to be honest, it was one or two of my mates, I'll say, it was the best thing that ever happened to you, getting over the head with a concrete slab, because I think a lot of people love the story and wanted me to do well. So I can't say that was one positive that come out of it. Although there's probably better ways to go around it. And I think it just made me reassess a lot of things.
Because the next year you went on to win a world title. I'm just wondering whether you ever considered sort of giving up, or you didn't think you were going to achieve that.
No, genuinely, I was laying on an hospital bed, and I thought, like, if I get a chance to continue my boxing career, I'm gonna give it up. I'd like to think I always did anyway, but I think it just made me that little bit more determined. I had a family to provide for and stuff like that, but I knew that positive thinking was a huge part in recovery, and that's what I always done.
We've run out of time in this round, but I just want to ask two more quick questions. One opponent that you wished you had faced.
Who I wish I had faced. The
Mm,
one opponent I wish I had faced, I think, in a lot of people, they'll know the answer to that. It was fellow Mancunian world champion Terry Flanagan. At the
yeah.
time, when we both had world titles, it was, and I know Terry wanted to fight as well, but I think we was both with different promoters. And it just, he was going one way, and it just didn't work out. We was both put offers to us at points in our career, but they wasn't the right ones for us, for whatever that may be. But I know that it's a fight I certainly wanted, and I know it's a fight he wanted as well. So yeah, the one fight that I didn't have in my career, but if I could have done it, would have been Terry Flanagan.
Who's your best friend in boxing? Who's the closest person to you there?
My little brother was always close with me, although he was much younger than me. He was there for so many of the big nights. Um, so I think it possibly became, or like, the gym were also close and very close with the Smith brothers. Um, Scott Quigg, Callum Johnson, and so on. Opie, I've known him since kids. It's hard just to pick one, really.
Do you know what that is,
So
Anthony? Because you are the nicest man in boxing and you've clearly got loads of mates.
I
That is
yeah, I
why.
don't. I genuinely don't know that. I think, like I said, I speak a lot with my little brother.
Yeah. Right, let's move on to this is life after boxing. You're now retired. Are you busy in retirement or are you a bit bored?
Um,
Be
I
honest.
a little no. Honestly, I'm really happy retired. There's no sign of. I know it's not been too long, but there's no temptation for me to put the gloves back on. I genuinely believe that I've got a lot more left than what I shown last time out. I really do, but it's. I'm happy. I'm content with how my career went, and I'm doing a lot of coaching now, so I'm still with the lads and Tasha we used to train with every day. I'm spending a lot of time with the amateur team, and I'm in the gym all the time, so you don't miss sort of that gym banter and stuff like that. I probably can just enjoy it all, but I've not got like the strain of dieting and stuff like that. So I think that really helps a lot. But no, I think in a way I was boxing for 23, 24 years. It took its toll, and it's starting to take its toll, and I think that was the right time to bow out, for sure.
So you're at peace when you retired, but you were 33 when you retired. I mean that's pretty young still. What's your
Yeah,
motivation now?
just short of 33 I was, and I was young, but like now, like I say, there's new goals in life. I'm sure we're going to get onto that, but just like, helping coach stuff with the kids at school who are at risk of exclusion, bringing them into the gym a little bit as well. So there's new goals in life, but as for my career, and is there a sign of a comeback? Do I think no, not at all. I'm very happy, and I'm like I say, I'm happy and content with my career.
You are a trainer now. How does that compare though? Training,
Yeah, it's
fighting. I mean, what about the nerves as well before a fight? How do they compare?
of course I like to think, because I've been there at probably at nearly all levels, that I can and give out a little bit of advice, firsthand how I felt, to try and give them, a bit of comfort. But I'll have nerves as well as a trainer, but then I can't show them, even though I'll be feeling them. I can't show them on the night because I don't want my fighter picking up on them. I think it helps that I've always, for a long time anyway, I've been around big fights, been in the corners for big fights, for world title fights, for 4 rounders, like amateur and professional level. It's for me. It's I think I've you've got to control those nerves as a trainer, just like you did as a fighter.
If you had time again, would you do it all again?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. It's some and that's I always said like the high of walking out in that Manchester arena with thousands shouting your name, that is the high that I probably never get again. But I've got to accept that. I don't believe I'll ever get that, kind of high buzz in my life again. But I'll look to fulfill it, fulfill that void in other ways. And I think being a coach and seeing someone try and live their dreams and helping them sort towards their dreams, that is very satisfying.
Do you think that's one of the hardest things
Yeah,
about your retirement is missing that buzz and the adulation and things like that, walking out, like you just said, to thousands of
yeah.
people in a packed arena? It's replacing that, I guess, isn't it?
Without a doubt, and I think, Anna, that's why I feel that so many fighters struggle, and that's what I think helps me being in the gym, and even still, whether you're around the big nights still, but on a much different role, whether it be in a corner, whether it be carrying a spit bucket, whatever it may be, but you're still sort of there and you're feeling a bit of a buzz, or you're so happy for a friend who's living their dream. Um, but yeah, I do believe I've said it for years, and I don't believe no drink or drug personally would ever give you that feeling again of walking out in front of thousands of people in your hometown, shouting your name.
And you get to work with us.
And that's an added bonus as well, of course. Of course. Talking about the sport we love and having one of the best seats in the house, of course.
Absolutely. Right, let's move on to your personal life. For you, what's your biggest achievement outside of the ring?
My biggest achievement outside of the ring would, yeah, without doubt, it'd be my little boy Jesse. Um, he's 6 years old now. He's a little terror, but yeah, like most sort of dads who are lucky enough to be close to the sons, he's like my little best mate. So yeah, that's been one of the positives of this lockdown for me.
What kind of dad are you?
I think I'm hands on, very sort of hands on, and I'll encourage him. He's playing a lot of football. Like I say, he's only 6, but he's doing well enough. But I just want to be. For me, there's not many things worse than I think a pushy parent. I believe, you encourage your child, and I see it sort of being in a boxing club, being around football and stuff like that. But I just want him to get the best out of what he can do. Like I say, I don't mind if he doesn't want to do something, but I always want that effort putting in. So just to support him the best I possibly can do.
Do you think he'll follow in your footsteps? I mean, do you want him to be
Uh,
in the sport, or
I really no, I really don't want him to be honest. A lot of boxers would say that because I know what a tough, brutal game it can be, but or sport it can be. But I've also remembered, what boxing's done for me in my life, and so I never want to say that if he comes to me where he wanted to box, then all I could do is support it. I won't encourage it. I'll never encourage it. Hopefully, he'll keep on kicking the ball. Or if not that, he'll look at some other sport. But yeah, if he comes to me with the dreaded words that he wants to box, I'll have to try and encourage it.
tell me one thing, or tell us one thing that people don't know about you.
Do you know what I am? I'm a sucker for reality TV. Oh, like I watch
Yes.
all kinds of garbage. Yes, I'm a sucker for reality TV, and I think that's me. My worst thing, my worst trait. Yeah, without a doubt. You name it. I've just got no shame whatsoever. You name it, I watch it. From Housewives to Love Island, you name it.
I love that. What about pet peeves? What really annoys you?
I think when at this time, the last few years, my football club, it's who support Manchester United. It's been hard seeing our two biggest rivals play the way they have. So that's been. I think I take things to heart a little bit with football. Um, I let it ruin my day. Let it take over my day when I'm a 33-year-old man and I shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I take. Yeah, no one likes losing, and I think I've never liked losing. But yeah, of course, it's other fans gloating and stuff gets me.
We're out of time, but what's the goal? What's the goal outside of the ring for you?
Outside of the ring now is just it's just sort of to continue sort of with what I was doing with the schools and with the young kids in the area, and try and create some champions. Really.
That's awesome. Right, this is the fantasy round. Love this one.
Yeah.
Right, if you could have a fantasy fight with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Myself, wow. It wouldn't. I don't think it'd be the nicest experience for me, but I think it would be against probably my favourite fighter of all time, or certainly one of them, Sugar Ray Leonard. Met him in person years ago, and he was a great guy. And yeah, I'd say about sometimes never meeting your heroes, but it was very much not the
Yeah,
case with him.
I love that. And how do you think it would go?
I think I could catch him that no at end and
Yeah.
end early, not in my favour.
Okay, what would your dream occupation be? I'm guessing it's going to be footballer.
Yeah, I think it would be being the centre forward for Manchester United would be my dream occupation, or captaining them. I think would be.
Okay, so here's one for you. Would you trade your world title in for scoring the winning goal for United in an FA Cup final?
Oh, no, I wouldn't, because boxing was the path that I chose, and no, I wouldn't. No way. As much as it'd be tempting, and but no, boxing was like the thing that I fell in love with from like a 10-year-old kid to reach the top and to achieve my dreams, what I set out to do. No, it's nothing will take that away from. I couldn't have anything take that away from me.
But you wouldn't mind giving it a go.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, certainly a close second.
Okay, what would, if you had a superpower for 24 hours, any superpower, what would you pick?
It'd be flying without a doubt. Flying without a doubt, and then I wouldn't have to sit in traffic like I do every day. I seem to live not as much now, but when I was like training, it was like to a gym, to another gym, and yeah, I spent a lot of time on motorways, from taking my little boy to school in the morning to getting home at night. So yeah, I think it'd be flying.
I can't imagine you getting road rage.
No, do you know? Yeah, I don't. I really don't get road rage. And when someone, I'm not the best driver, I'll be honest. So I probably cause a lot of road rage. But I don't mind getting shouted at. But when someone apologises, then that's it. But then it's when that this is probably my petty actually. And then yeah, but then when they keep going and you think, like where do you want this to end? I don't know.
If you were in a film, if a film was about your life
Yeah.
rather, who would play you in the film if you could choose anyone?
Wow. Do you know what? I thought he was really good in the fight, but I'm a big fan of his anyway. Mark Wahlberg, I think, is a
Yeah,
great actor. It'd be a toss up just because there's my two favourite actors, him and Matthew McConaughey.
good choice. Like them.
Thank you.
Right,
Yeah,
this is your final
yeah.
round, Anthony. This is all to do with being in lockdown. If you had
Right.
one dish to eat in isolation, your favourite meal over and over, what would that meal be?
I'm not keeping it very real where I'm from, but it'd be lobster ravioli.
You what? That is
I know,
fancy.
snob. I know, but it is. It's one of my favourite dishes, and that's what it'd be. I can't cook it. I can only really get it from a restaurant, but yeah, I think a lobster ravioli would be my favourite.
Do you cook? Are you a good cook?
I'm not. I'm not too good at all. No, I keep threatening. I keep threatening, but I think my purchase of lockdown is going to be one of those smokers for a barbecue. I'm going to become a barbecue king.
Love it. Right. One song, if you could listen to on repeat in isolation, what would your favourite song be?
It could be so many. This. No, actually, no. My favourite song, Mark Cohen, "Walking in Memphis." That is, yeah, that's what it
Yes.
would be. Yeah, that's my karaoke song, and I hope you're not going to ask me to sing it. So,
You can if you
but yeah,
want.
that I'd say that is my mum.
What about your walk-on song though?
Whitney, do
Does
you know
that evoke
what?
too many memories?
I am a massive Whitney fan again, and probably letting the side down a little bit, but like The Bodyguard, one of my favourite films, and that. But it's mad because I've been sent it that many times off drunken people when it comes on in a club. I get a bit embarrassed when it comes on in my mouth, to be honest. So yeah, that's not the song I would pick to listen to over and over again.
If you are out and that comes on, what happens? You just like head
A little
down.
bit, to be honest. Yeah, the head goes down and I squirm and like, yeah. It's not for me.
Exit, leave the club. One item to have in isolation, what would you pick?
One item. I spend far too much time on my phone, so it would be that. Even though it shouldn't, yeah, my phone is stuck to me a little bit.
Dream boxing hero to spend isolation with, who would you pick?
Oh wow. I would. Let me think. I think it might be. No, I was gonna lie then and say someone like Ricardo Mayorga, and we just have parties and parties for weeks and weeks, but it wouldn't. It'd be someone I'd be picking the brains of. Again, it might be Sugar Ray Leonard or no, Andre Ward. Andre Ward, it would be. I've been in his company a few times, and whenever he speaks, you can't help but listen. So yeah, Andre Ward.
Yeah, you need to be with someone that's got good chat, good stories, going to entertain you, really.
Yeah,
Because
the
the partying
party's
would
going
get a
to
bit
end
boring.
after a few days, isn't it? So
Yeah.
9 weeks of partying, I don't think I'd come out alive. So yeah, I think someone like Andre Ward.
Finally, one fight. If you could pick your favourite fight to watch on repeat, which fight would you choose?
I think Barrera Morales won. Barrera Morales won. I'm going for, but there could be so many. Yeah, Barrera Morales won.
But we all know you're going to be watching The Real Housewives in isolation.
That's it. As long as it doesn't clash with that or Love Island, then yeah, it's.
I love it. Do you know what? It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, Anthony Crolla, for doing the rounds with us today. Have a good one.
Anna, great speaking to you. Take care.